So, hot on the heels of the excellent Gears 5 and its pretty impressive collection of Easter eggs, it's time to tackle Borderlands 3 and its own treasure trove of Easter eggs and references. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at a staggering 25 Easter eggs, secrets or references that can be found in Gearbox's latest looter shooter. Those who have been subscribed for a while will know that we've already covered the previous Borderlands games on this channel with the help of a fellow Easter egg hunting YouTuber by the name of Garbit. So it only seemed fitting that we once again teamed up to take on Borderlands 3. Garbit is always one of the first people to find Easter eggs in games, and even as you're watching this, he is finding even more Easter eggs in Borderlands 3. So make sure you head over to his channel and subscribe for the latest in video game Easter eggs. Oh, and one more thing. Of course, myself and Garbit, we aren't perfect, and there's a chance that we may have missed an Easter egg or two, and if you think we have, the best place to let me know is on Twitter, Instagram or Discord. The links to all three will be in the description. Anyway, without further delay, let's get started. So first up, let's take a look at a couple of the references that can be heard when respawning at a new U station. The first of which is this.
Hyperion asks, did we ever tell you the definition of insanity?
So for those that don't know, that line is a reference to this iconic scene from Far Cry 3.
What the definition of insanity is.
The next new U reference is this.
You're finally awake. You were trying to cross the border, right?
So this was another video game reference, this time to the intro of Skyrim.
Hey, you. You're finally awake. You were trying to cross the border, right?
The final new U reference actually involves a legendary artifact found in the game. After defeating General Traunt, there's a chance that he drops an artifact called Rear Ender Deathless. In the artifact's description, it asks, what do we say to the god of death? So remember that line, as sometimes upon respawning you can also hear this.
Not today.
So both of those quotes are a reference to this scene from Game of Thrones.
What do we say to the god of death?
Not today.
So that about does it for the new U references, but let's stick with Game of Thrones for our next Easter egg. If you head to the area called the Anvil on Eden 6, you can find this. So a character called Mother of Grogans, the uncorroded queen of the Sewer Kingdom, who commands 3 Grogans. This is an obvious reference to Daenerys, Mother of Dragons from, you guessed it, Game of Thrones. Now we've already seen nods to Far Cry 3 and Skyrim, so let's take a look at some more video game references we can find in Borderlands 3. The first of which is this. So the Dinklebot was the name given to the ghost in Destiny, as it was voiced by Peter Dinklage, who starred in Game of Thrones. Bungie actually recast Dinklage with the release of the Taken King expansion, instead opting for the talents of Nolan North. If you defeat the Dinklebot, he will drop a Lutogram, which is a reference to the engrams found in the Destiny series, though Crazy Earl doesn't seem too impressed by it.
I was expecting you to get lost. A lutogram? You find this in a cave or something? Bring crap, get crap. That's what Mama used to say.
The next video game series to get the Borderlands reference treatment is Half-Life. During your adventure, you can come across a rocket launcher called the Unshippable Freeman. This launcher comes with the description, the right man in the wrong place can make all the difference in the world. So the name Freeman is obviously a reference to the Half-Life series protagonist Gordon Freeman, and the quote in the weapon's description is actually a reference to the opening scene of Half-Life 2.
The right man in the wrong place can make all the difference in the world.
Oh, and another cool nod is the way that you can control your missile after firing, just like you could in the Half-Life games. So for this next reference, I want you to tell me which game series immediately pops to your head when you see it. So this screen is almost certainly a reference to the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater series, you know, before it got ruined beyond recognition with plastic peripherals and crappy cash grab sequels. So I'm on the fence about these next two clips, but I thought they'd be worth sharing so you guys can make your minds up. The first debatable clip is this one. So to me, this screams Fallout, but I know that this could also be a standard message on a TV. The next one is even more debatable. What do you think these enemies sound like? So to myself and Garbit, they sound like the zombies in the Call of Duty zombie mode, but again, I'm not 100% sure. That's the thing with the Borderlands series, it's packed with so many references, it can be hard to not read too much into things. Anyway, let me know what you think. Twitter and Instagram are probably the best place to do so. So moving on from video games now and into film references. Gearbox has always hidden tons of references to some of cinema's finest and not so finest in the Borderlands series, and Borderlands 3 is no exception. First up is a reference to your mum's favourite book. So 50 Shades of Gravy is obviously a reference to 50 Shades of Grey. The next movie reference is this.
Ugh, these films are just terrible. Oh, hi, Vault Hunter. You are just the person I didn't know I wanted to see until I did see you there.
So this character is a nod to Tommy Wiseau, who is famous for directing and starring in the so bad it's good film, The Room.
It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Fans of the previous Borderlands games will recall the awesome Lord of the Rings Easter egg involving a journey to Iridium Blight with the One Ring. Well, Borderlands 3 also includes a pretty awesome Lord of the Rings Easter egg as well. During the Demon in the Dark Side quest, you'll come across this.
I sense a signal coming from that room. Our party is in hell.
So this room is a reference to this scene from Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. You also fight a creature resembling Balrog in this quest too.
Lagrimar, defeat that foul demon and avenge my ancestor! Invincible!
The next movie reference is this.
Swapping ammo!
So that scream is the infamous Wilhelm Scream that is featured in loads of movies, TV shows and games, including Avengers Infinity War and Venom. Right, moving on from movies now and onto TV shows. The first reference is to a show that I recently finished watching. In the Droughts, you can find this. So the Demoskagen is an obvious reference to the Demogorgon from Stranger Things. Up next is a reference to a very popular animated TV show.
Citizen, you are currently prohibited from exiting this vehicle pod because you are in possession of an illegally obtained firearm.
So if this wasn't already obvious, Wick and Morty are a reference to Rick and Morty. So I'm not going to pretend that I'm familiar with the TV show in this next clip. In the Droughts, you can find this.
Lavender Crawley is the matriarch of the Crawley family, a bloodline of particularly snooty of orchids. She must die.
So Garbett reliably informs me that these creatures are a reference to the Crawley family from the TV show Downton Abbey. When you kill one of the Crawleys, more Crawleys will spawn. Apparently this is the entire Crawley family. As I said, I don't watch Downton Abbey, so I'm not going to pretend I know what's going on. Talking of shows that I know nothing about, after a bit of research, this next Easter egg probably is one of my favourite in the game. At Lectra City, you can find a long corridor with a door at the end. If you interact with the switches and levers in the order that Garbett does, this guy will appear. So this is a reference to the anime One Punch Man. Rather amusingly, one punch will actually down your character in one punch if you let him hit you. If you're lucky, he may drop a legendary weapon called the One Pump Chump. I'll let you guys figure out what that's referencing. The final TV reference is to a couple of magicians. During the Blood Drive mission, you can come across these two.
Welcome to the greatest show on Pandora!
So Pain and Terror are a nod to Penn and Teller. Penn actually provided the voice for Pain in the game, which is pretty cool. Next up is the return of Rackman, or Rackman Returns if you will. Rackman featured in Borderlands 2 where he was holed up in a cave after the death of his parents. Well, he makes an appearance in Borderlands 3 and he isn't too hard to find thanks to the rack signal. This signal will only appear when he is spawned, and since he appears to be home, let's go pay him a visit.
4.
So the final Easter egg for this video at least is one that's appeared in all previous Borderlands games. That's right, Tannis is back. If you shoot the barrels in the order that Garbett does, then this will happen. So that's it. That's 25 Easter eggs, secrets or references in Borderlands 3. A huge thank you to Garbett for providing all of the footage for this video. It was a huge help. Please go and check his channel out. The link to it will be in the description. If you enjoyed this video, then a like is really appreciated, and if you're a fan of Easter eggs and secrets in games, then perhaps consider subscribing, as that's what this channel is all about. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.